Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to study session 31. This time around, we're doing Industrial Organizational Psychology, 338 terms. I have already started because it would not be feasible to learn all of it in one go. Therefore, in order to begin, I'm going to have to do the not studied first. Training is for current job and development is for future. The way I do this is multiple choice, and I can be quizzed on either the term or the definition. So here is the definition, whereas here is the term. The term can be in the form of a question, or it can just be a word. The definition could be an answer or a definition. LinkedIn. According to the professor, this is a great place for networking. Employee training through leadership. And designed for the employee training program. What is mentoring? Mentoring is a planned effort by an organization to facilitate the learning, retention, and transfer of job-related behavior. To learning, retention, and transfer. Those seem to be training objectives, but it could also be just employee training definition. The objectives are facilitate learning, retention, and transfer of job-related behavior. It's the definition. Various types of training is offered through an employee's career. Training is not limited to new employees, but it could be this one. Specific areas of training, retaining, and continuing. 4. New employee orientation, retraining, and continuing education, retirement planning, career development, international business, and team building. These are the specific areas of employee training. Sets expectations. Organizations will discuss themselves specifically. Organizational culture. This would be the areas of employee orientation. Planned effort by... Okay, this is just the definition. Continue. Never stop learning because professions end, therefore it is beneficial to continue education. That would be retaining and continuing information. Education. Keep your brain active. There must be a plan on what people are going to do after retirement, but the plan must be made before doing so. This is retirement planning. As the world undergoes globalization, more businesses will become international. This is international business. I'm going to go with back because it'll already count it as studying. Pretty much if it's not questioning me in the multiple choice method, we're not worrying about it because the exam is multiple choice. It is provided in response to problems. This is when training is provided. Okay? So this is pedagogy versus andragogy. Pedagogy is children-like training. Andragogy is adult learning theory. An understanding of learning theories. Equal employment opportunity, oftentimes. Okay. This is fundamental in employee training programs. An understanding of learning theories. Develop out of need for a specific theory on how adults learn. Okay. Design issue. It was developed because of a specific need. This is what is based. These are the assumptions about adult learning theory. Implications, mutual planning, and collaboration in instructions. This would be readiness. Design issue, okay. Develop instruction based on learners' interests and competencies. That's orientation to learning. That's readiness, okay. Mutual planning and collaboration in instructions. That is the design issue. And then this one is readiness. Okay, we're crushing it, guys. Immediate application of content. That is orientation to learning. That's time perspective. Okay. Problem-centered instead of subject-centered. So what is this one? Orientation to learning? Okay. Transfer of training, how learning translates into use of newly learned behaviors at the job. Trainee readiness, characteristics of the trainees, how training programs are structured and conducted. These are they fundamental issues? They could be fundamental issues, but they could also just be off-site. They're fundamental issues. We are getting out of here because this is not multiple choice. And as you can see, as it adds the not studied, it decreases the number here, and it'll go to learning. Eventually, I can put these on mastered. Once I get all of them mastered, I know that I'm ready for the exam. Okay. Assessment of needs. Establish objectives. Develop test materials. Implement program and evaluate the program. These are the 5 successful training program 5 steps. Organizational analysis, task analysis, and person analysis. Assessing training needs may also involve demographic analysis or assessing training needs of specific groups. This is an assessment of needs. Objectives for trainees, not objectives for trainers. 3 components of training objectives: performance, conditions, and criterion. These are training objectives. 2 types of training methods: on-site versus off-site. On-the-job training, therefore that's on-site. Seminar, audiovisual, behavioral modeling, simulation, program instruction, and computer-assisted instruction. These are special management training. Actually, they're off-site training. Okay. Okay, this one is special management training. It's literally in the name. Key factors to consider: trainee readiness, trainee expectation, climate for training, manager support. Let trainees know the goals, benefits of training, and provide feedback on progress and opportunities to practice. This is establishing. No, this is implementing, no? Yeah, implementing the program. This is off-site. Okay, we got 2 terms left. The first step in evaluation is to determine the criteria for training effectiveness. 4 types are typically used. Okay? 4 types. Reaction criteria, learning criteria, behavioral criteria, and results criteria. And this will create a return on investment. This is evaluating the program. Final question. Employee diversity and certain legal issues must be considered in the design and implementation of training programs. Training or educational prerequisites and the training programs themselves must not unfairly discriminate on the basis of ethnicity, age, sex, or disability. Most diversity training programs are not effective. This is issues in employment training. Okay. That should be all of them. Yep, that's everyone we haven't tested. We've mastered 195 and we're still learning 143 of the terms. Let's begin the exams. For some students, job fairs are the only method for finding jobs. What is the success rate of a job fair for job seekers in HR departments? 23%. Organizational behavior professor. This is another name for an IO profession. Textbook definition: job function analysis. Okay. That examines the sequence of tasks in a job and the process by which they are completed. Essential functions: what tasks must be done? Job relevance: is KSO necessary to do the job? These are not criterion. I think this is legal defense. The purposes of job analysis. It could be criterion relatability. Because think about it. The criterion for a job is what is required for the job. Predicting future performance with references. Are references reliable? References are not reliable at all. Checking for resume fraud. Obtaining missing information. This is because resumes have unintentional omissions, strategic omissions, and deceptive omissions. Develop/test materials on site. Okay. These are on-the-job training, apprenticeship, vestibules, and job rotation. Protected groups, adverse impact, affirmative action. Okay. Let's see. Doesn't have motivation. Does he? No. Placement process of assigning workers to appropriate job between fit, KSO, and job requirements. Tend to measure customer service the following way. It's this one. What type of training would an astronaut most likely use before going into space? Simulation training. Begun by Frederick Taylor, a method of using scientific principles to improve the efficiency and productivity of jobs. That's a good question. This is probably scientific management. Therefore, textbook definitions. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. That is the federal agency created to protect against discrimination in employment. Okay. Up next, we're going to have it for the following section. Before the internet, if someone asking for time on a watch, what were the watches? Well, the watches were analog, therefore they were unreliable. What do people do in a particular job? What human characteristics are necessary for the job? These are the two major questions of job analysis. A reference guide that classifies and describes over 4,000 jobs. Well, you see. These would be the Dictionary of Occupational Titles. Screening and selection placement. These are the two stages where merit and performance are the only factors that may be considered. Assesses training needs. That's a good question. Assesses training needs, establishes training objectives, develop and test trained materials, implement program, and evaluate the training program. That's a good question. I think that these are the steps in a training program. Recruitment method, formal or direct? Well, media advertisement, point of purchase, direct mail, employee agencies, college recruiters, computer database, special events, and employee referral programs. Orientation to learning. These are the implications of adult learning theory for training. And orientation to learning is that the adults see learning as problem-centered instead of subject-centered. Tendency to give all workers very negative performance appraisal. This is severity error. Construct-related validity is the measurement is actually measuring what it's supposed to do. You got 95%. What did I get wrong? Okay, criterion related. Okay, this is the one I was questioning. So job relevance is case on a job, and essential functions, what must be done is criterion related validity. Everything else should be correct, and it is. Good. Take a new test. Same rules. Results criteria. Okay. Measures job performance that typically consists of rating or judgments of performance. Procedures in which work tasks are broken down into simple component movements to develop a more efficient method of performing the tasks. It would be measures of the outcomes, because results are outcomes that are important to organization, such as increased trainee work output, as expressed by production rates, dollar sales figures, or quality of work. Using the results criteria, a cost-benefit analysis can be performed by comparing the cost of the program to the dollar value of the results. This is usually the most important evaluation of a program's effectiveness. However, it is sometimes difficult to translate training outcomes into dollars and cents. For example, if one of the goals is to improve employee attitudes, it may be hard to place a dollar on such results. I think that's how that works. Moving on, we have develop test materials, special management training. Okay. That would be problem solving, case study, role playing, management games, conferences, action learning, and mentoring. leniency or severity, halo or horns, primacy or recency, causal attribution, actor observer bias, or personnel bias. Well, this is common rating errors. These are common rating errors. Situation wanted ads, direct applications, and employee referrals. These are informal or indirect recruitment methods. Professors of teaching, professors of research. So their jobs teach with less research, and professors of research are traditionally hired professors. That is the differences. Okay, professors of teaching are just given a topic and say teach this, and they have everything needed. Whereas professors of research are the ones that know their craft like the back of their hand, and they're the ones teaching it because only they can teach it. Knowledge. That's what the K and KSO stands for. An example would be traffic rules. Textbook definition, critical incident technique. Okay. This is a job analysis technique that relies on instances of especially successful or unsuccessful job performance. Employee selection, gender, job stress, leadership turnover. Oh no. These are the most popular industrial organizational research topic in England. Training that replicates job conditions without placing the trainee in the actual work setting. That is either simulation training, which I think that's the correct one. Jeanette was informed she did not get the promotion she had been working toward. She overheard her boss speaking with another employee saying Jeanette is too girly and couldn't handle the requirements of a promotion like Dan can. This is an adverse impact and also a really unrealistic situation. If this did happen, she could sue. And I don't think the business owner wants to deal with that. Example of KSL finger dexterity, that's an ability. Gender, job stress, shift, work, employment. So it's not Japan, and it's probably not Scandinavia. So I'm going to go with India. It's probably Scandinavia, but now that I think about it, I don't remember how India works in this one. Actually, it is gender is one of the research topics, so I don't think it would be India. I think it would be Scandinavia. Causal attribution error. So this is where somebody attributes a cause to something that went wrong or something that went right, but another person sees a different cause to what went on. So the example would be Sandy attributed her poor presentation to her lack of sleep, while her coworker attributed her poor presentation to her unprofessionalism. Hold on. Okay. Having a system of feedback to assess how well the HR system is working and how well the company met its HR plan. Okay, this is an action plan. No, it's not. This is control and evaluation. Not always applicable, teacher. Okay. Performance not always under individual's control. It's too simplistic, time consuming, and potentially costing. These are the disadvantages of an objective method. Textbook definitions, paired comparison. Okay then. This is a performance method in which the rater compares each worker with each other worker in the group. Face valid, doesn't invade privacy, doesn't intentionally discriminate, and minimize adverse impact. These are predictors in selection system to reduce the chances of a legal challenge. Test retest, parallel alternative forms from stability, scrambling the forms for the exams, and the average is the same. Internal reliability, score reliability. Scantron and computer softwares are quite reliable. If it is reliable, then it will give the same score. These are methods of determining reliability. What is criterion related validity? This is Siegel method. This is why people don't talk in line. Accuracy of a measurement instrument in determining the relationship between scores or an instrument and some criterion of job success. Okay, so criterion related validity is the accuracy of a measurement instrument in determining the relationship between scores of an instrument and some criterion of job success. An assessment of the relative value of a job to determine appropriate compensation, that's a job evaluation. What did I get wrong this time? That's a good question. It's a causal attribution error. So it's an error that occurs when an appraiser gives more extreme appraisals if they believe the cause of the worker's performance is rooted in effort rather than ability. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Okay. Let's take this again. Take a new test. The extent to which the means of appraising performance is pertinent to job success. This would be criterion relevance or exceptioning. It's not usefulness, or it could be usefulness because it has to be useful. Pertinent. Okay, pertinent definition. Relevant or applicable. Okay. Relevance. What does the N in ocean mean? Neuroticism. Outsourcing. This is when you contract with an external group to accomplish work tasks. Dual focuses of IO psychologists, those would be efficiency and productivity of organization along with the health and well-being of employees. The textbook definition of a comparative method is that uses comparisons of one worker's performance against that of other workers. Following a management rating technique using scaled down enactments of the operations and management of organizations, that should say rating. That would be management games. The notion that jobs require equivalent KSAOs should be compensated equally, that is comparable worth. Performance appraisal methods used in a series of statements about job performance. A series of statements. That is a checklist. Bob, a supervisor at Target, is given performance appraisals. He rates everyone very similar, giving them all positive ratings. This is a leniency error. Establishing friendly platonic relationships with the clients. This is the number one priority in sales. Organizations give performance appraisals to motivate their employees. For students, grades are a form of performance appraisals. This is why organizations give performance appraisals, and grades are the student equivalent for one. Malcolm Gladwell was a New York Magazine reporter. A common training method in which an expert provides job-related information in a classroom-like setting. That is a seminar. Primacy or recency. Okay. This is a memory issue that does not take the entire period into account. KSAO stands for knowledge, scalability, and other. Easy to use, inexpensive, and can assess variables that objective methods cannot. These are the advantages of a subjective method. Mentoring. This is a training program in which an inexperienced worker develops a relationship with an experienced worker who serves as an advisor. Okay. The claim that it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill was made by Malcolm Gladwell and is false. I wrote the word bullshit here because that's the word that the professor used in class. Personnel screening methods test personality. That's the big five. Affirmative action is the voluntary development of policies that try to ensure that jobs are made available to qualified individuals regardless of sex, age, or ethnic backgrounds. Okay, we're the freaking best. 100%. We are the freaking best. Good. Now we gotta do this again. And I'm going to do this for about 2 hours or so. Measures used to determine successful and unsuccessful job performance. These are performance criteria. A realistic job preview is an accurate representation of the prospective jobs of the applicant. It helps reduce employee turnover. Wait. These are very similar. Personnel decisions. employee development and feedback, criteria for research, documentation for legal action, and training. Documented performance can be used to lay people. Okay. This is the uses of a performance appraisal. The validity of predictors and selection systems based off. These are based off job analysis and predicted work-related behavior. Companies are going after really smart people. This is the war for talent. An overall positive evaluation of a worker based on one known positive criterion of action. That's the halo effect. In basket leaderless group discussion. This is control and evaluation. No. An assessment center. Control and evaluation or assessment centers. How do I not know this? Hold on, this could be a personal screening method. I don't think this is a definition. And if it is, that's crazy. Skills and knowledge or test assessment centers. It's not a forced distribution because there's no percentage here. I'm going to go with B. Job incumbents and supervisors. That's a subject matter expert. Biodata, cognitive ability, mechanical principles, motor and sensory abilities, skills and knowledge, personality, honesty and integrity, assessment centers, drug testing, and hiring interviews. This is the famous list of personal screening methods. CIA individuals are great detection due to being cynical. People who study stenography understand that many people suck at detecting lies. Measures the outcomes that are important to the organization, such as increased trainee work outputs as expressed by production rates, dollar sales figures, or quality of work. Using the results criteria, a cost-benefit analysis can be performed by comparing the cost of a program to the dollar value of the results. This is usually the most important evaluation of a program's effectiveness. However, it is sometimes difficult to translate training outcomes into dollars and cents. For example, if one of the goals is to improve employee attitudes, it may be hard to place a dollar value on such results. These would be results criteria? No. Using the result... It is results criteria. What am I talking about? The disadvantages of a subjective method. Those would be potentially poor reliability between raters, prone to rater bias, rating errors, and supervision of system. Reliability refers to whether an employment test is constantly getting the same results. Special management training. Be problem-solving case study, role-playing, management games, conference, action learning, and mentoring versus coaching. Bars. And no, these aren't the rap music, okay? That's not what bars are. We're not talking about that. Bars are the behaviorally anchored rating scales, a performance appraisal technique using a rating scale with labels specifying examples of behaviors that would be seen as poor, average, and good. Okay? I got bars, but I don't rap. I don't. Criteria. Okay? That's a good question. These are probably measures of job success typically related to performance. Collection approaches. Surveys, existing data. Interview, diary, observation, participation. If you have too much time, you could kill yourself. What is networking? That is relationship building. An assessment of the relative value of a job to determine appropriate compensation. That is job evaluation. We're the best. See, this is what I mean by I have been studying these like crazy. I could probably take the test now, but I want to prepare a little more. Establishing training objectives. Okay, so this is the list. These are something. They're not easy to use. Components of training objectives. Performance conditions criterion. Oh no. Both of these involve training. Okay. 3 components of training objectives. Performance conditions. So these are the components, and I think that these are what happens in it. I'm going to go with this one. References are lenient. In other words, fewer than 1% of applicants are actually rated below average. A Sandy attributed her poor presentation to lack of sleep. This is actor-observer bias. Never stop improving. You'll never know when to change careers. This is in regards to career development. The name of the professor's dog is Cinnamon. This is just a joke question. Maybe he'll ask it, I highly doubt it, but it's fun. For some students, job fairs is the only method of finding jobs. What is the success rate of a job fair for job seekers in HR departments? 23%. Cost to purchase / create. Cost to administer. If they're too expensive, it won't be utilized. And cost to score. These are cost effective. What are test formats for the differences? So that would be group versus individual, objective versus open-ended, paper and pencil versus performance, and power versus speed. Equal employment opportunity issues in employment training. So the issues are legal issues, training or educational prerequisites, cannot unfairly discriminate against ethnicity, age, sex, or disability. And the truth be told, diversity training is also complete crap. Most of them are not effective in the slightest. You're just going to get people to click on what you want them to click, and then afterwards they'll never think about it again. Why waste your time when they could be working, getting that paper for you? Assigning workers to established categories or poor, good performance with fixed limitations, that is a forced distribution. Specific areas of employee training, team training, that's because the workforce is team-based. Real and valid occupational needs required for a particular job. That's the bona fide occupational qualifications. Can be used to promote people. So this are what performance appraisals can be used for. And this is an example. Among the graduates, the IO psychology workers, the starting pay is, and the average pay is 200K, 350K. Students evaluate word starting pay 200K. We gotta get a PhD in IO psychology, fellas. I don't even know what they do, but that's pay, okay? This isn't super rich, but you're making more than 99% of everybody. Students evaluate professors with random professor online evaluations. Professors evaluate students with grade. This is how students evaluate professors and how professors evaluate students. Choosing a method depends on purpose and cost, because businesses have to pay the cost to do businesses. And if they can't pay the cost to do business, then they're not going to succeed. Warehouse workers will work for robots. Oh, that's because at Amazon, the workers do work for robots. Causal attribution. That is the tendency. Causal attribution. That's a good question. Process by which people assign cause to events or behavior. Now, you in the audience, if you who's watching, if you want to answer one of these questions, just type it in. Just type it in. If you see the answer. Conscientiousness is the trait that is the predictor of leadership and longevity. 200 pounds. So imagine a scenario where you have a chain of 200 pounds, a chain of 300 pounds, a chain of 400 pounds, and a chain of 500 pounds. How much weight can a combined link of these chains hold? It's 200 pounds. Some people decided to just add this up, which is wrong. If you add it up, you're going to end with 1,400 pounds. But any of you who study engineering will know that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Baller. You keep getting hundreds. It's so good. Ability is can one do a task? Wait. That's a skill, isn't it? The capability to learn to do a task is the ability. Because can you do it is do you already have the ability to do it? Well, the skill would do it. Capability is your ability. For example, being able to type quickly, like steganography, that's a skill. But having fingers to type with, and that you have a good amount of dexterity with, that's your ability. So that's your capability to do a task. And this is not a fair. This is a completely different answer for a different question altogether. Honesty and integrity. That's the polygraph. Reason this happens is that being a chief executive officer comes with a distinct skill set. This is why sometimes CEOs get hired in completely different industries. The example in the class is how a CEO of an eye drop eye care company went to work for General Motors. 1 in 3 resumes contain inaccurate info. Over 500k resumes have bogus degrees. This is why you check for resume fraud. Bogus degrees. I like how he said bogus. I haven't heard someone say that in a long time who was my own age. Results criteria. We already went over this. Adult learning theory based on terms of assumptions. Adults need to know why they're learning. Adults have a need to be self-directed. Adults bring more work-related experience into the learning situation. Adults enter into a learning experience with a problem-centered approach to learning. And adults are motivated to learn by both extrinsic and intrinsic motivators. Establishing friendly platonic relationship with clients. That's the number one priority in sales. Simulation training is a type of training that replicates job conditions without placing training in an actual work setting. Only factors may be considered. That's the screening and the selection placement. Comparative methods. These would be paired comparison, force distribution, and rank order. Career ladder is career development. Yes. These measures used to determine successful and unsuccessful job performances. That would be performance criteria. Terrible argument to use against someone that is not weak-minded, but I work so hard. In other words, if someone says to you, but I work so hard on it, they think you're weak-minded or they're stupid. Okay? They either think you're a weak person or they might actually just be stupid. They could just be young, too. If they're young, that's different, okay? Give them a break. They don't have the experience. But if a guy in his 40s tells you this, he thinks you're stupid. Fundamental issues in employment training, pedagogy versus andragogy. Okay, so pedagogy is children-like training and andragogy is adult learning theory. Recruitment, screening, placement. These are the job evaluation. No, this is the hiring process. Knowledge, traffic rules. Survey, existing data, interview data, reputation, participation. That is data collection approaches. Predicting future performance of references. Are references reliable? References are not reliable at all. Correct. Give 2 university relevant examples of training and 1 professional. Okay, so IEVAL and Raymond Professor are university examples, and then letters of reference are professional examples. Equal Opportunity Commission. This is the federal agency to protect against discrimination in employment. We're the freaking best. Okay? We are. Okay. Warehouse workers work for robots. What typically consists of rating or judgments of performance? Judgment. That's the part that gets me. Performance criteria. This also could be bars because that's a rating scale. I'm gonna go with A. Areas of employment training. Training is not limited to new employees, but instead training is offered throughout an employee's career. Program evaluation simply measures training succession criterion following completion of training program. That is okay. So pre-test, post-test only design. Simply measures training success criterion following. So that's after It could be post-test. Steps in a successful training program. That would be assessing the needs, establishing the objectives, developing and testing the training materials, implementing the program, and evaluating the program itself. Flying to a client site, partner appear once a week, partner leave, specifically done by a leader who only talks to a subordinate when they are failing. That is the Siegel method. In which two of the following stages of the hiring process are merit and performance the only factors that may be observed? That would be screening and placement. The halo effect. That's a positive evaluation of a worker based on one known positive characteristic or action. The systematic study of task duties, responsibilities of the job, and the qualities needed to perform it. That is... Job analysis? Reliable and valid. That's predictors in selection systems. No. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because BOS is behavior observation scales. And these require something else. It gives a potential employee a realistic overview of their tasks at the company. What is the purpose of lowering the turnover rates? So this is the point of a realistic job preview. Recruitment methods, formal or direct. Choose a matching definition. Formal or direct, that's media advertisement, point of purchase, direct mail, employee agencies, college recruiters, computer database, special events, and employer referral programs. If you have too much time, you could kill yourself. Textbook definitions, job evaluations. That would be the assessment of a relative value of a job to determine appropriate compensation. Serial killers lack empathy. Job stress, motivation, training, work environment. You see, because this is job stress, I'm tempted to pick Japan, but it could also be Germany. England requires gender, so we're going to take that out of the list. Go with Japan, though. Accurate presentation of the prospective job organizations made to the applicants. An accurate representation of the job organization made to applicants. That is Realistic Job Preview, RJP. Definition seminar. A seminar is effectively an expert talks about something in a classroom setting. Well, classroom-like setting, not exactly the classroom setting. Extent to which a coordinate is consistent, stable over time, and free of errors of measurement. That is... Right. No. This is a validity question because it talks about being consistent. This is probably a criterion related validity. Reliability in this instance is constantly getting the same results. Okay. Yeah, I probably messed this one up. Where did I mess up? So this is subjective performance criteria, because it's judgments. It's Germany. And reliability in industrial organizational psychology. Okay. New test. The extent to which performance appraisals contain elements that detract from the accurate assessment of job effectiveness those would be criterion contamination. Organizational behavior professor. That is another name for the IO profession. Implications of adult learning theory for trainee experiences. Implications are that the user learns experience is basis as an example and application. So in essence, if you've ever had a job, that could be used as an example to teach an adult using the adult learning theory, andragogy. Or as the professor pronounced it, andragogy. Textbook definitions, individual methods. Okay. Okay. And violate an employee by himself or without explicit reference to other workers. That's an individual method, but I've never seen it. So the eras in terms of business from the 1900s for the manufacturing era in the 2000s is the knowledge economy. I evaluate my professor, letters of recommendation. These are 2 university relevant examples and a subjective ratings and 1 professional example. Behavioral criteria in regards to evaluating of a training program. So it's not A and it's not D. I'm going to go with C on this one. Measures the amount of newly learned skills displayed once, typically used to assess behavioral criteria with supervised recording the use of newly learned behaviors. Job evaluation does not equal performance appraisal. This is what a DEI is. Management games. So this is just a scaled down enactment of operations and management organizations. Having a system of feedback to assess how well the HR system is working, how well the company met its HR plan. So these are control and evaluation, I think. Statement of a human characteristic required to perform a job. What? A statement of the human characteristics required to perform a job. This is a job specification. Problem-solving case study. That is just when management presents a real or hypothetical organizational problem a trainees attempt to solve. So, A. Time and motion studies. Okay. Amount of newly learned skills play once typically used to assess behavior criteria. Okay. Okay. No. No. Skill. That's driving a car. Measure how well one does a job. That is a performance appraisal. Recency effect. Advantages of the subjective method. It's easy to use, inexpensive, and it can be accessed. Variables that objective methods cannot, such as team spirit and motivation. I apologize for my accent. I have no control over it. Chapter 6, textbook definitions, criterion, relevance. Okay. That is the extent to which the means of appraising performance is pertinent to job success. Jeanette was informed because she was too girly. Adverse impact. What did I get wrong? Okay, time and motion is which broken down into simple component measurements and time to develop a more efficient method of performing the tasks. Almost had it. Process of assigning workers to appropriate jobs. Placement. Knowledge, scalability, other. That's what KSO stands for. Textbook definitions, evaluation of training programs, results, criteria. That's this big thing. It measures the outcome that are reported to the organization, such as increased training work output, as expressed by production rates, dollar sales figures, or quality of work. If you don't enjoy something, make it fun. That is temptation bundling. Degree to which a criterion falls short of measuring job performance. Criterion deficiency. Emphasize humans are information processors. That's cognitive theories of learning. Helps other employees when workload is not praised when they do well. Well, that is an example of behavioral observational scale employee relations. This is a great media site for networking. Learning that occurs through the observation and imitation of the behavior of others. Modeling. False negative errors. This is when you reject an applicant who would have been successful. Wait. It is. Ignoring pay discrepancies between particular job professing equivalent duties and probably exceptioning. Face valid, don't invade privacy, don't intentionally discriminate, and minimize the adverse effect. These are predictors in the selection system to reduce the chance of a legal challenge. How much does an executive assistant make? Anywhere between $275K to $1 million. Data collection approaches. Those include surveys of existing data, interviews, diaries, observation, and participation. In Germany, it is job stress, motivation, training, work, and environment. Training is slower than IQ, but IQ has limits. Training plus IQ is the best. People identify critical behaviors for a job. That is BOS. Process of attracting a pool of qualified applicants. Goals: attract a large pool of qualified applicants, provide a realistic job preview, and avoid discrimination against underrepresented groups. This is the recruitment stage of a hiring process and what it entails. The hiring process: selection, placement, selection, process of choosing an applicant. This is where there is a statistical multiple predictor called multiple cutoff and multiple hurdle. What are test formats and their differences? Group versus individual, objective versus open-ended, paper and pencil versus performance, and power versus speed. We're the best. The freaking best. Two types of training methods: on-site versus off-site. On-the-job training, apprenticeship, vestibule, job rotation. Time and motion studies are the procedures in which work tasks are broken down into simple component movements, and the movement's time to develop a more efficient method for performing the task is known as time and motion studies. Specific areas of improvement: new employee orientation. This is the extent to which it sets expectations organizations will discuss themselves, specifically the organization culture. The formalized means of assessing worker performance in comparison to certain established organizational standards. These are performance appraisals. Psychology around the world. American consulting firms have become international, reflected in the names. Developmental decisions incorporated to international, and personnel decisions to international. What is BOS? Behavioral Observation Scales. This is people identifying critical behaviors for a job. Intelligence. This is a personal screening method test for cognitive ability. Performance appraisal methods using a predetermined scale to rate the worker on important job dimensions. This is a graphic rating scale. What does the N in ocean mean? Neuroticism. Why are structured interviews better than unstructured? Because they are reliable, valid, and not as prone to legal challenges because they are based on a job analysis. Ask the same questions of each applicant and have standardized scoring procedure. What is a webinar? It is an online training method similar to a lecture or seminar. Screening and selection placement. In which of the two stages of the hiring process are merit and performance the only factors that may be considered? Those are in the screening and selection placement. Textbook definitions, objective performance criteria. That is the degree to which measures of job performance that are easily quantified? No. No, 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 it is. 1/3 of teachers in the United States graduate at the bottom of their class. That's really depressing. Okay. A method of rotating workers among a variety of jobs to increase their breadth of knowledge. That is job rotation. Cost. This has to do with job analysis for teams. Choosing a method depends on purpose and cost. Seminars, audiovisual, behavior modeling, simulation, programmed instruction that's self-paced, and computer-assisted instructions are off-site developed test materials. When a measurement accurately measures what it is supposed to do, this is construct-related validity. Students evaluate professors with rate my professor online evaluations, and professors evaluate students with grades. This is how students evaluate professors and how professors evaluate students. A realistic job preview is an accurate representation of prospective job organization made to applicants. We are number 1. Specific areas of employee training, new employee orientation. This is setting expectations organizations will discuss themselves, specifically organizational culture. Outsourcing. This is contracting with an external organization to accomplish work tasks. A professor of teaching is their job is to teach, and a professor of research is a traditionally hired professor. Measures the impressions of trainees, including their assessments of the program's value, the amount of learning they received, and their employment of the program. Reaction criteria are usually assessed via training evaluation, rating surveys given to trainees immediately after training sessions or workshops. It is important to note that reaction criteria do not measure whether any learning has taken place. Rather, they assess trainees' opinions about the training and their learning. This is reaction criteria. The uses of performance appraisals are for promoting firing and transfer, employee development and feedback, criteria for research, documentation for legal action, and training. What method of a protected group are treated unfairly by a employer's personal action? This is an adverse impact. A friendly personality, as an example of KSO, is another. These are data collection approaches. Performance appraisal methods involving the ranking of supervisees from best to worst. Employee training definition. A common training method in which an expert provides job-related information. No, that's a seminar. An employee selection method. No. A planned effort by an organization to facilitate the learning, retention, and transfer of job-related behavior. A new employee doesn't have any motivation and doesn't see the usefulness of learning a job. What is he lacking in? He's lacking in trainee readiness. Sources of performance ratings include supervisors, self-appraisals, peers, subordinates, customers, and 360 feedback. High correlation between two letters written by the same person for two people than better letters written by two people for the same person. They say more about the person writing the letter than the person being written about. In a sense, the reason references are not good predictors of performance is given above. Weak ties are best for networking. The practice of ignoring pay discrepancies between particular jobs possessing equivalent duties and responsibilities. That is exceptioning. Performance feedback. Performance assessment and performance feedback. This is the two parts of a good performance appraising that it consists of. Process of attracting a pool. Goals: attract a large pool, provide a realistic preview. This is the recruitment stage of the hiring process. A job analysis method that analyzes jobs in terms of knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics required to perform a job. This is probably a job description. Because you need knowledge, skills, and abilities and other characteristics to do a job. But it says method. The degree to which a criterion falls short of measuring job performance. Efficiency. Trainees are provided with training material that can test how much they've learned. It's self-paced. I want to say program instruction. What'd I get wrong? Okay. That's, I said I was gonna go for 2 hours, but honestly I think I'm gonna do 3 more, and if I get 100, we just call it. Observation, participation, existing data, interview, survey, job diary. These are methods for performing a job analysis. These are the procedures. These are the procedures. United States of America has the most IO graduate programs. Okay, these are the 2 questions answered by job analysis. Knowledge and skills are needed. That is performance appraisal. Quotas, feedback, sales, clients. Those are examples of objective methods. I evaluate my professors in letters of reference. I should say recommendation, but reference is fine. The advantage of saying, I want to work for you. Federal agency created to protect against discrimination in employment. Okay, that's the EOC. In basket, leaderless group discussion. These are assessment centers. Effective and legal performance appraisal systems. Are job related and yeah. Self-paced individual training in which employees are training. Okay, that's just programmed instruction. If you are not moving forward, then you are growing, then you are dying. The professor really likes to tell people they're dying, apparently. Actor-observer bias. Essential functions, what tasks must be done. Job relevance is KSO necessary to do the job. That's a legal defense. New employee doesn't have any motivation and doesn't see the usefulness of learning tasks for the job. This employee is lacking in trainee readiness. Job fairs are the only methods for finding jobs. What is the success rate of a job fair for job seekers in the HR department? 23%. This is the identifying critical behaviors for a job. This is a forced distribution. Objective performance criteria. Okay. That's a good question. This is job evaluation, so I'm gonna go with C over here. Trainee readiness. Let's check it out. Okay, I failed this one. Research. Easily quantified. What did I miss? What else did I miss? Oh. Job analysis. What? That's crap! Okay. These are the 5 countries besides the United States that have the highest amount of IO graduate programs. Germany, Australia, Canada, England, Belgium. Evaluation of training programs, behavioral criteria. Regression, statistical, multiple predictors, multiple cutoff, hurdle. That is... These are... Hiring process, selection, placement, selection, process of choosing applicants. Perform well professionally. These are people conscious. Stress, motivation, organizational level. So that cannot be Japan. Therefore, it's India. Inexperienced worker develops a relationship with an experienced worker. It serves as an advisor. That's mentorship. Potential for successful training. That's trainee readiness. These are off-site develop/test materials. Steps in a successful training program. Estimate of needs, establish objectives, develop materials, implement the program, and evaluate the program. Understanding of learning theories. That's the fundamental and design of employee training programs. Calling their boss. Okay. What people do that are best in a management position first in regards to their work is call their boss. Yes. Focus on behaviors rather than traits. Ratings are documented. That is effective in legal performance appraisal system. Provide specific feedback. Fewer than 1% of applicants are rated below average, which is why references are lenient. Sets expectations. Organizations will discuss themselves, specifically organization culture. That is the point of an orientation. Gender, job stress. I'm going to go with Scandinavia on this one. Watches were analog before, they were unreliable. Therefore, what do people in a particular job do? What human characteristics are necessary for a job? These are the 2 measure questions in job analysis. Typing speed is a skill. Reliable, valid, and not prone to legal challenges because they are based off job analysis. Ask the same questions of each applicant and have standardized scoring procedure. This is why structured interviews are better than the unstructured. This right here is control and evaluation. Probably got one wrong. Yep, it's the Scandinavia. It's gonna be Israel. Watch. Oh no, I got that one right. No, bullshit. I got this one. Okay. This one is correct. That's one of them. I need 2 more. Changes in behavior occurring as a function of participants' knowledge that are being observed and their expectations can enter in the role of the research participants. Hawthorne effect. Scandinavia. How to catch frauds, use bogus application items. Learning theories. That is severity error. That is the I want to work for you. Individual methods. Okay. These are behavioral criteria. IO psychologists are practitioners of scientists. That is causal attribution. 360-degree feedback is just getting it from everybody. Mm, this is a workforce forecast. Okay. Performance appraisal contain elements that detract from the accurate assessment of job effectiveness. Contamination. Job description. Webinar. This is employee training. Right? Yes. Implementing the program. Mm-hmm. Because the truth be told, in regards to, say, climate for training, a lot of times work is so busy that the employers won't give their employees the training, and as such, they will suffer overall, but at the same time, at least they're getting the work done. Okay. What did I get wrong? Really? Okay. Good to know. Scandinavia requires gender. Process of choosing applicants. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ta-da! Ranking the supervisees from best to worst. Ranking. Driving a car. These are skills that professors should have. Openness. TDI, PDI. Reflected in their names. Real and valid occupational needs requirements for a particular job. Bona fide occupational qualifications. If people only did within their job description, the organizations will fall. Verifying information. After all, truth, error, embellishment, and fabrication are all things that occur. Typing speed is a skill. Hawthorne effect. Performance feedback. Job stress, motivation, training, work environment. Germany. Pack. Provide specific feedback. These are probably B. Wait, judgment. Typically, performance. Provide specific feedback. Okay, then. It's one of these two. These are both appraisal systems. Problem is, provide specific feedback is that gets me. Skill, can one do a task? Compensation for future hires. Action plan. Behavior modeling training. Okay. That is the whole thing about getting them to model a new person. On the job experience with classroom instruction. Apprenticeship. It's probably not Germany, it was probably India. Oh no, it's not. Oh my goodness, I was looking up. What? Okay. Two more. Hmm. Measures used to determine successful and unsuccessful job performance criteria. Wait. Now it could be performance criteria. Acta observer bias. These are basis of adult learning theory. Face validity. Doesn't invade privacy. Does not intentionally discriminate and minimize adverse effect. Before and after the introduction of the program. That's pre-test, post-test design. Behavioral observation scale? I'm trying to figure out, honestly. What is construct-related validity? Reaction learning behavioral results from investment. That's an evaluate program. Skill is can one do a task? Personnel screening methods, assessment centers. That would be in basket leaderless group discussion. Process of assigning worker to appropriate job is employee placement. Wait, what? No, that's a protected group. That's for impact and affirmative action. PAC. Human Relations Movement. Elton Mayo that emphasizes the importance of social factors in influencing work performance. Wait a minute. That's causal attribution error. Minimum cutoff score. That's two. One more and then I'm out. Don't worry, I'll be back later today. Hand-eye coordination is motor and sensory ability. Online training method similar to lecture or seminar, it's a webinar. Sources of job analysis information. The use of pre-recorded videotapes and other electronic media to convey training material. To convey training material. Audiovisual instruction. Extroversion. These are the two focuses of IO Psychologist. Hiring process, recruitment, screening, placement. Performance appraisal methods using a predetermined scale to rate the workers on important job dimensions. Graphic rating scales. Wait. Probably, actually. Cinnamon. Time motion studies. Problem solving case studies. Employee training method of placing a worker in a workplace to learn firsthand about a job. On the job training. Cost to purchase / create, cost to administer, and cost to score. Are cost effective. Behaviorally anchored rating scales. Bars. Does not equal. Subject matter experts are individuals with detailed knowledge about the job. That's information from everybody. Employee training. What? Performance appraisal technique using rating scales with labels. Okay. Okay. Another one. That's validity. Following stages of the hiring process are race, sex, allowed to be considered. Only in recruitment. For example, if you're looking to hire a stripper, you choose to hire women. Unless you want a gay strip club. And even then, you would still discriminate against women in that situation. Determine relation between scores. Criterion related validity. That is the point of a realistic job overview. Common ways to measure validity are content, criterion, and construct validity. Outsourcing is contracting with an external organization to accomplish work tasks. References are not reliable at all. Performance criteria. Job evaluation does not equal performance appraisal. Choosing applicants. Process of choosing applicants. Hiring process, selection, placement. Most people ignore others in line because they think others want to talk. Employee selection, gender, that's England. Openness. Legal defense. Hiring decisions depend on cost. No. On what kinds of people will need. These are implementing the program. The advantage here is that there is no competition. Content validity is good question. This is construct 5 countries, gender, so that's Scandinavia, because apparently Scandinavia cares about gender. Good to know. No. Okay, I got that one right. Predictors of success. Motherfucker. Okay, one more. Okay. To a worker about performance level with suggestions for future employment. Performance and feedback. Personnel psychology. Human resources. Common rating errors include leniency, severity, halo, performance, primacy, recency. These right here. Organization to facilitate learning, retention, and transfer of job-related behavior. Okay. Wait. Yeah, it is. Weak ties are better for networking. Employee training. Content, construct, criterion. These are the common ways to measure validity. Network is relationship building. Provided in response to problems. Training. Hawthorne effect. What sort of people should we hire? Selection. Wait. Call their boss. Managers. Computer assisted instruction. This is audio visual, no? But this seems... That's a good question. I probably got that one wrong. Motor and sensory ability, eye-eye coordination. Recency effect. Performance appraisal. Wait a damn minute. That's at the United States. Okay. This is bad. Probably got it wrong, actually. Oh, we did it. 100%, baby. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna call it here for today, and then I'll probably be back later. My exam is tomorrow,